9 unfair advantages short men have over tall men. Look at this short man, then look at this tall man. If you are like most people, you prefer to be tall than to be short. We can understand that. The common perception is that men who are taller are more athletic, attractive and successful, while some short men and even women become discontent with their height and even go up to the extent of bone lengthening surgery to increase their height. What is often overlooked is the fact that there are advantages to being short. In this video, we'll be sharing with you 9 unfair advantages short men have over tall men. If you're new here, consider subscribing. Number 1. Short men live longer. According to a study published on Wednesday, May 7th, 2014 in the journal PLOS ONE, the taller you are, the faster mortality. This study includes 8,000 Japanese American men who were followed over a span of 40 years. Following that, researchers came to the conclusion that taller men are more prone to chronic conditions as compared to short men. Hence, men with a shorter stature have a longer lifespan. If you're bigger, you have more cells, so you have to grow more and you use up a lot of those cells. Researcher Dr. Tim Donlon theorized in an article in Hawaii News Now. My feeling is that if you're shorter, you have a reserve of cells you can use later in life. And that might have some impact on why shorter people or smaller people have a longer lifespan. Who doesn't want to live long? If you want to live long, go and make yourself shorter. Number 2. Short men look younger for longer. We cannot say this applies to all short people, but I am sure you know a few petite people that look younger than their actual age. It may be a slight disadvantage during your teens, but let me tell you that it is a huge advantage in your late 20s and up. Women love it when guys look young. Young means fit, fresh and full of life. You probably still get your identification card checked when entering dance clubs or wanting to buy a drink. We should take this as a compliment. Looking like a teenager does have its benefits. For one, when you travel overseas, you can pass off as a student and pay only student rates for numerous things like transportation. Number 3. Short men have lower risk of suffering from blood clots. Here's some more bad news for tall people. If you live a sedentary lifestyle, you are at a higher risk of developing recurrent blood clots or venous thrombosis. A study published in the Journal of Thrombosis and Hemostasis in 2015 found that tall men between the height of 195 to 200 cm were at an increased risk of recurrent blood clots by at least 2.5 times. Tall men 6 feet and up are 2.6 times more likely than short men 5'8" and down to develop venous thromboembolisms, blood clots that start in veins, according to researchers from University of Tromsø in Norway who surveyed the heights, weights and medical records of 27,000 people. But they also found that obese people are more likely to develop these blood clots, yet another reason not to compensate for those missing vertical inches by extending yourself horizontally. Next time you see a short man, you can envy him because he's less likely to suffer from blood clots. Number 4. Short men are less intimidating. Okay, this can be a disadvantage or an advantage depending on when, where and how you play it. Take for instance, when approaching girls, it is better to look less of a threat in the beginning. Women are faster to open up to a conversation because they are not intimidated. Don't get me wrong, women like bad boys, but they do not like to be approached by some very threatening looking guy in the public. Also, if you want to look more intimidating as a short guy, or your goal is to look more intimidating than you do at the moment, grow a beard, get tattoos, get jacked and learn alpha body language. But why in the first place do you want to look intimidating? Number 5. Short men have lower risk of cancer. For men, the risk of any type of cancer increases by 11% for every 4 inches of height, according to a study conducted by scientists at the University of Stockholm that examined data from 5.5 million people. The study bolstered past findings that linked prostate cancer to height. Some researchers suspect that this is because taller people have more cells that could potentially turn cancerous, or it could have something to do with the growth hormone receptors that help stimulate height and, alas, tumor growth. A 2014 study published in the Cancer Causes and Control Journal found that taller men and women are at an increased risk of cancer and cancer-related death. This study included 38,862 participants who were diagnosed with cancer. On the other hand, taller men are more prone to colon, rectum, and prostate cancers. How I wish I was a short man. If you're a short person, you better be proud of yourself. Number 6. Short guys get more credit, depending of course on what you achieve. But people tend to be more impressed by successful short men because usually they do not expect short guys to be successful. Yes, people underestimate short people. If you're short, use this to your advantage and surprise everybody. Not only that, but you also get away with more than taller guys. If you made an inappropriate joke or something like that, people tend to forgive you pretty quickly. Number 7. Short men are shielded from the sun. I am sure many of you have done this. It is a hot day, you do not have an umbrella with you, and there is no shaded area in sight. What a short man needs to do is to use the taller man next to him as shield. Your taller friends will understand if you use them as impromptu shelter from the sun. There's another good news here. Are you ready for it? Tom Samaras, the American researcher, studied the effects of heat on different body types. His findings show that the shorter a person is, the less likely they are to suffer the ill effects of the sun. The advantage of tall people keeping warmer in cold weather becomes a disadvantage in hot weather, writes Samaras. Thus, in a hot environment, the shorter person's surface area in proportion to body heat generated at rest allows him or her to lose heat more readily than taller people of similar body builds. The shorter a person is, the less likely they are to suffer the ill effects of the sun. Number 8. People are inclined to do more for short men. When you ask for the box of crackers on the top shelf in the grocery store, it makes whoever you asked immediately feel compassionate towards you. Let me hold this door open for you, they say. Or, let me make sure that no large person trample your small frame. Also, people are more inclined to be a little nicer around short men because you just look so innocent. Number 9. Short men have last relationship. A 2014 study at New York University reveals that men who stand below 5'7" are 32% less likely to get a divorce compared with men of average and above average height. The implications of the study are that shorter men tend to marry less and marry later, developing longer lasting and well-considered relationships. The study goes on to say that shorter men do a greater share of the housework and bring home a greater share of income. The sociological implications of this study are disappointingly mired in archaic unconscious bias and theories of short man syndrome. But let's accentuate the positive, a collaborative and considered partnership and not divorcing. Another plus in the relationship department comes from a study of Hungarian men published in 2014 in the Journal of Sexual Medicine. The study found that participants that stood below 5'9" reported having more sex than taller guys, 2.69 times per week on average. In 2009, writer Julie Maines expounded on her love of short men for saloon, writing of a special intimacy that comes with being the same height as your lover. If short men have all these virtues, why do we stigmatize them? If short people have all these unfair advantages over tall people, why are they not proud of themselves? So why do we make this video? Because of two reasons. First, if you are a tall person, you have to stop looking down on short people because they are better than you in so many ways. And if you are a short man or woman, come on, don't allow anyone belittle you. You are as important as anyone and even having some unfair advantages over most people. If you love this video, our team will be very happy if you can like and share this video on social media. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button to have more videos like this. Look at your screen now to see the next videos we have picked for you to enjoy next. We love you.